react to this video. Okay, so first of all, shout out to the happy couple. No shame in their game. They seem happy, they seem excited, and I wish them nothing but the best. Y'all know I love marriage. I'm happily married. I think marriage is a beautiful thing. Isn't this what equality looks like? I'm trying to figure out why this would be anything other than beautiful. If we are to, in fact, uphold the standard of equality, which is something that we hear being extremely important in today's era. And the reason I bring that up is because, I'm looking at this and I'm like, hey, a man and a woman loving each other, committing to each other. Why is this a problem? Don't women want equality? Don't women want a partnership? Don't women want a 50-50? Maybe they don't want 50-50 as far as bills, but they do want a partnership. They do want a co-leadership. Isn't that something that has been explicitly talked about and in some instances demanded for years now? So under those regulations or under that context, I don't see anything wrong with what's happening here. But what I find very fascinating about this video is not the video itself. It's not that she's proposing or that she dropped down on her knee and, gave him a ring. It's the comments. So that is what I find to be very fascinating. And that's exactly what I want to tease out a bit today, because it's a prime example on how relationships today are very complicated. And one of the reasons they're very complicated is because the expectations or the social expectations are no longer clear. And we're going to get into why. So obviously we see this is a woman who's proposing to a man, something that rarely happens. We are used to seeing a man get on his knees and propose to a woman. That's just what it's been. That's just how it is. With that said, we supposedly live in a society where men and women are equal. They have equal opportunity to jobs, to getting bank accounts, to getting education, higher education, whatever. And so under that paradigm where a man and a woman can do absolutely the same thing, there should be no problem with a man proposing or a woman proposing. In theory, they should have equal expectation and equal opportunity to show and display their love in any way that they think. But we see in the dating and mating market where these old traditional desires of femininity and these old traditional desires of chivalry still have a stronghold in the mindset of a lot of ladies. And the reason I say stronghold is because some of the ladies who are the most feminist leaning, the most progressive, who are the quickest to say that they are boss babes, that they are bossed up, that they're making their own money, and that they refuse to submit to men and don't want to cook and clean and do any of that stuff, are the same women who still require men to show up in traditionally masculine ways. And one way that they would require a man to show up would be him getting on his knees and him proposing. And we know this because anytime we see a woman take on a role that would be considered more masculine, in this sense, her proposing, then the ladies have a lot to say. Before we keep going, I want to talk a little bit about something that's actually made a difference in my household, and that is Anson belts. When my husband decided it was time to upgrade his look, I decided to get him a box of Anson, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it completely changed his aesthetic. When a man feels more put together, it shows. The way he carries himself is different. Everything just feels more polished. And what makes Anson belts different from other brands is its micro adjustment system. Instead of those traditional belt holes where you're stuck between particular sizes, these belts adjust in really small adjustments. So you get a perfect fit every single time. The other thing I really like about this product is the quality. I mean, yes, it does cost a little more than what you may get at Target or Walmart, but it is well worth the investment. Not to mention it comes with a lifetime guarantee, which obviously speaks for itself. So honestly, if you're a wife, if you're a girlfriend, or even if you're a mom, a sister, or just a friend, and you want the men in your life to look sharper, more polished, this is a great investment. Not to mention it comes in this really nice box, which looks like it would be a great gift for anybody you love. You'll get 3 buckles and 3 straps that can be mixed and matched into 9 different belt combinations, all in one box, which means he could build an entire new collection without ever having to replace the belt. And because Anson Belt and Buckle is sponsoring today's video, when you click the link in the description or scan this QR code, you'll get 2 bonus pieces, a buckle and a strap, completely free. Trust me, it's a small upgrade, but it will make a big difference. Thanks so much. So let's look at this first comment. For example, it says, I'd rather separate glitter than turn a man into a lady. And so her first thought, apparently her getting on her knees and her expressing her love to her boyfriend, now fiance, is her turning him into a lady. Now, I don't know how that's the case. I mean, don't men and women have the same rights? Aren't we talking about a partnership, right? Don't women want a partnership? Don't women want to co-lead? So if that's the case, then what does it matter that she leads the relationship towards marriage versus him? What does it matter? If that's what you want, then wouldn't you want to empower the woman to have the capacity to be able to propose and say, hey, I'm ready to take this relationship to a next level? So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so him being a lady because he's proposed to, based upon what? Here it says, I'd rather mop the ocean, but congrats, right? This one had over almost 12,000 likes. This one said, I would feel so embarrassed if I were him. Okay, so these women are saying, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Well, why? But why is this embarrassing? How? Aren't men and women equal? If men and women are equal, then don't women have the right to show and express their love, even if that means getting on her knees to propose? Hear me out. I am not here to make a judgment whether it's good or bad. What I am saying is, I find it fascinating that we live in a very liberated society. Well, I mean, granted, things are changing, right? Under this current political regime. So take that with a grain of salt. But in theory, we're supposed to live in a society where men and women are equal. They have equal access, equal opportunity, and therefore equal responsibility. And more specifically, I mean, women are just supposed to be liberated. They're not supposed to be held down by these traditional ideas of femininity. They're supposed to be able to define femininity on their own terms. That's the society we live in. And so why now, when there's a woman who is defining femininity on her terms and being open and expressive about wanting to propose to her man, is that seen as embarrassing? And y'all see how these roles change. I have to give a special shout out to Mr. Z Black in effect. He talks about this exclusively, where it says, see, the problem with patriarchy is that it's not that women hate patriarchy, it's that they want patriarchy on their own terms. A lot of these ladies like patriarchy on their own terms. That means they want the patriarchy that pays for them, that gets on their knee and proposes, that plans special dates, special vacations, and that ultimately protects and provides. That's the patriarchy that they want. But they don't want the patriarchy that requires submission. They don't want the patriarchy that requires there being respect for leadership. They don't want the patriarchy that may require them to actually cook and clean under that traditional contract. They want patriarchy on their own terms. They want a man who is going to be emotionally available, who's going to be loving and kind and rub her feet and her back, but then also be strong and masculine and protect her if she feels unsafe, and also pay for all the bills, and also take her out on vacation, and also be strong. And so they want it on their own terms while having the freedom to define their own level of femininity. And so this is exactly what we're running into. I'm seeing all these women in here, they're making it seem as if she is like breaking the femininity or the feminine code. But I'm like, wait, I thought we exist in a society where women are supposed to be able to define what femininity looks like to them. And so either we live in that society and therefore what she's doing is completely fine and there should be no shame associated with it, or we don't. But we don't get to play both sides. We don't get to be liberated and modern and I can do battle by myself, or I get to define what femininity means to me. We don't get to do that. But then now when you experience the implications of that and you're treated equal, then you want to cry foul and say, oh, I'm supposed to be treated like a lady. So which is it? And that's to me what these comments are showing, because I love how men are the new women. Okay, so now what is a woman, right? What does that mean? And obviously I know what a woman means, but what I'm saying is the social expectation, because as I mentioned before, these kinds of moments, the kinds of moments where women are put in positions where they are actually treated equal, but it's not in the way that they necessarily like, that's to me when the hypocrisy shows up. Here it says, ruined my whole week. Y'all. Here it says, we listen and we judge. Yeah, y'all are judging for sure. This one says, girl, get up. This one says, I need to talk to this woman's mom. Where is the woman's mom at? Does she know about this? Maybe she does. And what's the problem? Like I said, what is the problem? Shouldn't a woman be able to define femininity on her own terms? Don't we live in that era? This one says, I'd rather swim into a boat motor. Okay. This one says, just stop. So, okay, these are just a few comments, but y'all are seeing the level of hatred that I'm seeing right now. Are y'all seeing the level of negativity? I mean, some of the most egregious, like, I'd rather mop the ocean, but congrats. Again, 12,000 likes. And listen, I am not here to judge whether or not it is good or bad for a woman to propose to a man. Now, truthfully, would I do it? No, I probably wouldn't do it. And I didn't do it. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm married, so it's fine. But I'm just saying, it wouldn't be my preference. But what I'm saying is, if we live in a society where men and women are equal, there are implications to that. And what you find is that at times when women are treated as equals, or when they are given the opportunity to show up as equals, they're not always happy about it. And that's what I find to be particularly fascinating about this video. But anyways, what do y'all think about this whole thing? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.